Hello everyone, I have with me the author of a very new book, a book that I've read and I'm so excited about it that I told him he should come to the studio and we need to really talk about this book because more people need to read this book. I have with me Kehinde Ademoye. He's the publisher of the new book titled Where Do You Go? And I'll leave him to talk more about his new book. Welcome, Kendi.
Thank you very much.
I'm used to calling you Kenny, so
Yeah.
you don't mind, right?
No, I don't mind. I
Okay.
don't mind at all.
Okay, so today we want to talk about your new book. I've read it and I really enjoyed every bit of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, are you going to just share, like, introduce the book to us?
Okay, Where Do You Go is a collection of short stories. It's about terrorism in the north. So there are 6 short stories in it. We have Ambushed, Anyebe, 2 Days, Next Minute, Ajuaya, The Fighting Corps, and Coming Home. So those are the 6 stories in it. And the first story is actually kind of personal. It's centered around a junior of mine in secondary school. He was in the army. His unit was ambushed and they were all killed. So.
Okay, wow, interesting. So, like I shared with you earlier, reading this book actually gave a human face to the Boko Haram crisis. You know, down south here, you hear the news. There was a bombing. There was so number of soldiers were shot or killed. You do not really. You just hear it as news. Personally, that's what happens to me. Yeah. But when I read this book, I began to imagine real people. You gave a face to the people who are actually in front of this battle. Yeah. So how did you come about that?
First of all, someone asked me after reading the book that how do I get my inspiration? That do I take anything? And I told him, look, it's just God.
Yeah.
And basically, when you hear these stories, you just try and imagine, put yourself there. My writing is simple, and I try to make it as, I try to make the words jump out to you, plain in front of you. So the inspiration is basically things I've heard, stories I've read, newspaper articles, and I just felt people have to know what is really going on.
Yeah. Let me tell you my best. My best story would be the one where, is it the Senate president's daughter
Okay.
was going to visit?
That is 2 days.
2 days,
2
yeah.
days.
And I'm like, yeah, right. Social media. Social media has caused something. And tell us about that one.
Okay. 2 days is basically about a special unit group, a special forces group. They were to, leave the hot zone in 2 days. Their tour was up. But their GOC asked them to stay behind, just extend by a day, because the Senate president's daughter decided to come to their zone and visit an IDP camp. Of course, we know it's all for show.
Yeah.
And, the soldiers did not like it, but hey, this was their GOC and they loved him. So the Colonel Abel, he advised that, look, it's a get in, get out situation. No posting anything until you leave the zone. She didn't do it, but her PA posted on social media, and of course, all hell, as they say, broke loose.
Go and read the book. It was really, really interesting.
Now, there's this song by Force Minor. It's called Where'd You Go? So the lyrics of the song actually inspired this cover title. Okay. The song talks about a man who has a wife. It's not directly related, but he has a wife who left home. And he's asking her, where did you go? He wants to know, wherever you've gone, are you coming back? The cover was done by Wale Thomas, and you can see a boot with bullets. So the boot signifies someone leaving. And the question is, where did you go? And you are wondering, is this person ever going to come back? So
Yeah.
that's what inspired the
One of the
title.
stories about one of the soldiers that was going to get married in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a maker.
Yeah.
But he never came back.
Didn't come back. Yeah. One question I also want to ask is, guy, are you a soldier? Like, how did you know about the names of, like, the terminologies, right? I was like, I need to ask, is your dad a soldier or something? Did you have this? It's like you have this affinity, or you did some research. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did a lot of research. I watch movies, I read books, so you get to pick these terms. And like, I wrote a play and it came out among the 10 finalists early this year. And we were at a workshop, Professor Yerima. He said something, he said, to be a writer, you must be a very good researcher. Because anything you put in your book, someone is out there who wants to verify and know, are you writing rubbish or are you actually writing something? So I did a lot of research, and thank God the book came out well.
So we're going to read from this. We have 6 short stories.
Yes, 6 short stories.
Yeah, so we're going to read just a few lines from each story. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with Ambushed, which is the first story. You're reading from page 22, right?
No, page 6.
Page 6. Oh,
page
sorry.
6.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Go on. Can go on.
So page 6. Okay. By the time the radio man made to give their coordinates, the attackers had jammed their signal. The captain faced his men. We need to make our stand here. We might not make it out, but we will show these bastards the strength of the Nigerian army. The nation is greater than anybody. For God and for country. For God and for country, they echoed. Ahua. So that is from Ambushed.
Yeah. So the next one we're going to read from is Anyebe.
Yes.
Anyebe, page 22. We're reading from page 22.
Page 22. Okay. So Anyebe, page 22. It goes, when Abel and his men got back to his village, he went to the village head. Anyone who wants to leave should do so now, because these killer headsmen are coming. They will be here tonight in all their might. Women, children, and aged should go somewhere safe. The same goes for any man who does not want blood on his hands. Buses had been arranged and they filled up quickly. Abel's grandmother refused to leave. I will be your spiritual guide, she said. I will not be able to fight physically, but I will do so in prayer. Mama, you can do so where you are going. Go to my house in the city, a frustrated Abel said. So that is...
I want to add,
okay.
No, I will not leave my king and my land. Also, if any of you get injured, who will patch you up? And then she added, with a hint of pride in her eyes, in case you have forgotten, I retired as a chief matron. Yeah. So that was like a stubborn mother.
Yes, a stubborn grandmother.
Who didn't want to
leave. A stubborn grandmother, yes.
And was ready to stay with her grandson.
By the time you read the story, you find out why she didn't want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the third story.
Yeah.
2 days. Yeah.
Your favorites, right?
Yeah, my favorite.
So that's page 47.
47,
okay. Son of a bitch, Osaz spat. Osaz made sure the sniper was dead, while Okon took his gun. They were about to return to their comrades when they saw Danladi running towards them. They are coming. They are reinforcing, he screamed. Time check, 07:30 hours. Osaz and Okon began to run towards another class block. It was their only chance. There was no way they would make it back to their comrades before the onslaught. Danladi joined them in the class block next to the one Abel and the others were. They picked up Funke's PA on their way. She was hit, but the bullet had gone through. They patched her up and waited. They did not have to wait too long. So that is 2 days.
2 days. So because it's my favorite, I'm going to look for that part where I really like.
Like, okay.
Where where they found out that it was on social media.
Social media, okay.
A fine lady is coming to Zaizifi
Okay,
camp.
maybe let
Zaizifi camp.
you know, he has this
the
accent. So,
yeah.
so it's, a pine lady is coming to the IZF camp tomorrow. Danladi said to the men. Abel froze. How do you know? Okon asked. It is here on Facebook, the boy said, and proudly showed them his phone. The information was on Facebook and Twitter. All the men looked at each other and their leader. Oga, please take it easy, Rotimi said, as Abel was visibly shaking.
Yeah. So, gonna read the difference here more. Okay, so let's go to the fourth story, which is next minute.
Yes.
We're reading from page
64. Yes. At the church, the service was exhilarating. The church was packed full because it was the third service. As the service ended and church members were coming out, a rundown Peugeot 504 sped in. Dr. Akpan recognized it as the same car with the same good-looking man he had helped that morning. What's the hurry, he thought, and why doesn't he stop? The man behind the wheel of the 504 was chanting the Chakber as the car rammed into some parked cars. Suddenly, there was a deafening bang. The church had been hit by a suicide bomber.
Yeah. Nice. So one thing I also noticed is I was able to identify some of these stories. Yeah. From reading the stories, yeah, at some point, like I heard something like this in the news, yeah? Yeah. So that was like, I'm saying, oh, this guy actually did a lot of research. Yeah.
Yes,
And then having to immerse yourself in creating the characters and then bringing us to that. So we don't just hear the breaking news.
Yes.
There's actually real human beings
behind it.
Yeah. So we're going to Ajuaya.
Ajuaya, yes. The fighting corps. Yeah. This is basically, Ajuaya we know is term for corps members. So it's about corps members after a post-election violence. Okay, so page 87. As Papa Kenny peeked, he saw that a member of the mob was walking towards the outhouse. He turned and apprised everyone of the situation. He looked to the boys and asked what he should do. The boys told Papa Kenny to be silent and went out. They chased each other, laughing till they got close to the mob. Back at the runner, the boys greeted the mob. Lahi Alao. They asked them if there was anyone else in the outhouse with them. No, they replied, saying it was their mother's outhouse and she was resting. The mob's leader looked at them and asked the group to turn back. Suddenly, one of them said he saw a female copper around the outhouse. Neshi Gashkia, is this true? The leader of the mob asked. Babu Shine Kaya, Wallahi. No, it is a lie, the boy swore. The leader of the mob, on hearing the boys deny and swear in God's name, started to leave. Then let's check the compound, another mobster said. Shiga, the boys said, and the mob advanced towards the house with machetes, bottles, and knives. Nkechi began to piss on herself.
Yeah.
So out of fear.
Yeah. This story was quite all the stories actually, because you now there's now a human face. It was really heart wrenching to know what people are really going through. Yeah. I understood why nobody wants to go and serve in some of these circumstances. Yeah. Yes. When the rape, it was really gory, and like I keep repeating, it gives a human face to every breaking news we've heard on this crisis.
And I don't know if I can quickly add this. There's a portion of the book where I said, Papa Kenny's pastor said, the peace of the North has expired. It's actually quoted from a real-life pastor. Well, I served in the North. I served in Katsina, but I served before the violence started. And when I was about to leave, the pastor said, we should pray for the North, that the peace of the North has expired. We prayed, but we didn't think, and that since 2009, that was when he said that. Today, it's still ongoing.
Wow. Wow. So now to the last story in
Coming
the book,
home.
In this series of short stories, Coming Home.
Coming home. Yes.
Yeah. So we're reading from
Page 112. 112.
Yeah.
Okay. She lay supine on the couch as her session with the therapist began. Her mind went to the other girls. She wondered how they were faring with their therapist. She knew for a fact that she and all the other girls were scarred for life, and that no promise from the government or assistance from well-meaning people could change that. They were grateful for the Nigerians who prayed and the NGOs who demonstrated and believed they would return. But they, the returnees, were the ones who had to live this narrative of return. To decipher if the look on the faces of people who interacted with them was of pity, of scorn, or of judgment. Halima faced her therapist and said, "Today, I would like to talk about Kashim." Dr. Sola looked up to her and said, "I would like to hear about Kashim, Halima."
Yeah.
So for some, actually, they say this is one of the publisher or the guy that did the editing and proofreading said this was his favorite story because,
I think my second.
you know, it's the story of a girl from Chibok. The exchange had taken place. She was back, but she was trying to relieve what she went through.
Yeah.
So
What got me too was the fact that still repeating the human face
Okay.
thing. Yeah. We had someone who would tend to be part of the terrorists.
yes,
Who had a kind heart.
yes,
Who was not the brutal picture that we
that we
imagine.
imagine.
Yeah. So I really like this story too because it looked at a victim, someone who was survivor, and then someone who was a part of the terrorist group was with a kind heart and a different. Yeah. Really, really well done.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
We have a lot. I think we should do a tribute to our forces. What
Yes,
was it? The
yes.
military and all those who have laid their life for this country.
Yeah,
You want to read that?
yeah, the dedication to Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, Captain Oluwashola Akinbesote. He is the junior I was talking about, and all heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice to insurgency. Your labor will not be in vain. And to those soldiers still in the front, to those civilians still living in those areas, our prayers are with you.
Just to wrap up, why should these people go and buy this book?
Okay, first of all, like she has said, it's very engaging. I try to bring life to the world. And people who have read and have given me back their reviews said, it looks so real.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say this, but a retired army person read this book and said he enjoyed every bit of it. And it seemed as if I was actually there.
Yeah.
So apart from you enjoying the read, it makes you feel like you are part of the story. It makes you feel like you are there. You feel their pain. And I must confess, there were parts of the story when I was writing it, I was close to tears. Even anytime I try to read that part, you know, because it makes you feel you can touch these people.
Yeah.
You can see them. They could be your sister, your brother, and so on. So please go and get the book. I promise you won't regret getting it.
Yeah. So where can we get the book?
Okay, I'm still talking to my publishers. They are trying to get the books across to bookstores. For now, it's at the Pareza Publishing bookstore. It's on Allen Avenue. There's a bookseller's shop in Ibadan. They have it there. Booksellers in Abuja, they have it there. But definitely I'm going to work on getting it across to many other stores, and I will keep you updated.
Yeah, okay.
Before I go, I have to say, This picture you see here was taken by her, the fantastic, photographer.
I got my work on the book cover, man.
So, when I was told, hey, you need to get a picture on this book, I said, okay, who can I call? And I called her, and everybody who has seen it, you're so fine, you're so fine, and everything.
Yeah,
it's all thanks. It's all thanks. Yeah. So please, you want your pictures taken, you want to shoot a video.
Don't go out, man.
You come to her. You come to her.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming around. Guys,
so much.
go get this book.